Hey guys, welcome in the second video in which we're creating a design system from scratch. Now in this video we will be creating the color styles for the UI kit, and this is a series of videos in which we're creating a UI kit from scratch. However, if you're just interested in learning how to build a design system, you can look at this video alone without the need of watching all the other videos. But in case you're interested, you can, since I created an entire playlist guiding you step by step on how to create this UI kit from scratch. Now, the benefits of creating a design system are multiple, and a design system will allow you to create the most scalable and automate a lot of the processes, especially when it comes down to tweaking or rebranding or changing things in the project, being a client project or a personal project. So without further ado, let's just jump into the video. Hey guys, so we're back into this project. So this project is very simple. We just have two screens at the moment, and we already created the textiles for the design system. Now, in case you're wondering how to create the textiles, you can watch the previous video, which I recently shot, and we're going to guide you through step by step on how we created and synced the textiles in the design system. In this video, we'll cover on the color styles. So one thing that we are going to do is to simply copy the artboard with, let's go on color styles. So we just created a new pages, we named it color styles, and at this point we're adding a artboard. Now let's give the artboard a width of 1586. It really doesn't matter, I just wanted to have some consistency between the width of the artboard in the textiles and color styles, so that once I change pages, I just have like this degree of consistency. But you know, it's not a big deal. You can make it larger or smaller. It really doesn't matter that much. Now let's hop into the textiles. And what I'm gonna do, just to save a little bit of time, is I'm going to duplicate these dividers, which are, you know, essentially just text and a line below. So this won't really have any major effect on the design system. It's just something that I will copy in order to save some time. So I'm gonna rename the divider primary. And basically over here, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to create a few rectangles, and just below that, so one, and then I'm going to use Alt and Shift and then Command D just to duplicate them a few times. Now let's make these a little bit smaller. You can do it like this, and just for the sake of keeping these perfect squares, I'm going to do 222 and 222. Oops. Okay. And basically what this is going to be is on the very left, this rectangle is going to be the base for the primary color fields. So let's say that the in our case it's going to be like a complete fill, and in this these are going to be borders. Now let's make this a little bit smaller, and we're going to duplicate them a few times, just like this, so that we can have the fields over here. Now this is going to be called primary, then solid, since it's going to be a solid fill. This is going to be primary, let's say it's going to be 0.5 pixel outline, and I'm just going to duplicate this over here. Instead of 0.5, I'm going to use 1, and this one is going to be 2 pixels, and this one is going to be or actually let's skip this one 2 pixels and this one 1.5. since 1.5 pixels, you can use them in several different outlines. Wait a bit. So let's make these outlines exactly like the one we named above. So this is going to be 0.5. This is 1 pixel, which is already set. And let's make this one 1.5 and 2. Now this is a very basic design system, and usually nowadays I don't really create design systems from scratch. I'm just wanting to show you how to create a design system so that you're aware of the logic and dynamics behind one. But I would encourage you to actually use a design system which you either custom built or you can get one. I have a personal design system called Inizio, which you can find on my website. I mean, it's a premium one, but yeah, it just saves me so much time, and that's the one that I use for all my clients' projects. But you know, you can use free ones, you can use custom ones, which you can create once, and then you just have it as a base. But yeah, I mean, it's all about being efficient with your time and not redoing things that aren't necessary. So just keep that in mind as a word of advice. Now over here, what we did is I selected one of the colors which I assigned to primary, and I basically colored this one and all the borders over here. Actually, we're looking at the 0.5. I think I'm going to bump it up to 0.75. Just because it's a little bit more practical. So let's update this one. And basically what we have going on here is we have the base for the design system. So let's do one thing. Let's copy all this and I'm going to duplicate it just a few times. I think that for this design system, I'm going to have, let's say, yeah, we can keep it to 7. I think this is going to be enough. And so basically what I did over here is I grouped them, but now I'm going to ungroup them. The reason why I grouped them is just to be sure that everything got grouped when and duplicated when I did this. But yeah, it's just a quick thing. So let's go over here and we can rename this to primary solid. Okay, actually let's do a thing, because what I wanted to show you is the fact that color styles are pretty much work in a very similar way to the textiles. So basically we're going to work with this appearance section over here. So if, for example, I go ahead now and this layer is named primary solid, and I create a new layer style, you can see that this is going to be the style which is on the appearance. However, we want to work a little bit more strategically with this, and we want to do some bulk updates. So let's do one thing. Let's keep this text as a reference for our naming, and what we're going to do with the naming is pretty simple. We're just going to say the if it's primary, secondary, or tertiary, or whatever. Then as a second thing, we're going to specify if it's solid or if it's an outline, and then we're going to just keep the one of these outline values if it is an outline. So say 1.5 pixels. So this is going to be the base in which we're going to name this. So let's go ahead and do something over here. Let's change all of these. It's going to be secondary. So Guys, in case you're wondering, this is something that you have to do just at the beginning of this project, or of other projects. You don't have to do it like all of the freaking time, so don't worry about it too much. It's just a one-off. Okay, now we have, I think it's quaternary. I really hope I'm not messing this up. Let me check. So primary, secondary, lol. I always can't remember the last ones. Oh yeah, I was right. So that's quaternary, then quinary, and then centenary. All right. Okay, so let's just do this renaming thing. Again, guys, it's a one-off, not much of a big deal. So yeah, let's just get rid of this, and we're going to be in business. And then we can do the most exciting stuff. But yeah, it's part of the work, so just bear with me on this. Now we're going also to use borders, so that I can show you how borders will look like when using this option. And over here we're gonna have some UI states such as let's say success, failure, and maybe active, over, and also going to include a shadow. So yeah, I think we are in good shape when it comes to this. Now let's actually go ahead and copy one of these, or actually let's see which one. Yeah, I think I'll copy the first one so that we can use it as a reference to include the color styles that we used. So we have the blue, we have the green, and let's just go over here, use the eyedropper to just pick the color picker actually. And we're gonna have a few of these. So what I'm doing over here is I'm just literally like picking the colors which I wanted to use throughout the project. If it was a client project, I would use their branding color in the order that you know, it makes sense and according to their branding guidelines. But in this project, since it's a UI kit that won't be developed or you know want to be anything with a fixed purpose, I'm just freestyling to show you around the concepts. So I think this makes up for a great case study. And actually, when it comes to borders, I think I'm going to create two versions of the borders. So let's use the eyedropper, and this is going to be the light version of the border. And let's go over here. This is pretty light. Now let's make this a little bit bigger, and I am going to group and duplicate this. So 67, okay, that's great. And we're going to create the second type of borders, so which is going to be more of a darker fill. So we will be using these for both borders and also for icons. I think, yeah, quite certain about this. So that we have two tones of grays, which can always be useful, and you never know when you need one or the other. Now let's just go ahead here and rename border to border 2. And yeah, I'm using a lot of creativity here. Just bear with me. For this side project, I think we'll find our way around pretty easily. So okay, that's great. And now what we're gonna do is we need to rename each and every one of these layers according to the hierarchy that we want to have in the appearance panel. So this is going to work exactly like the textiles, and you have to pay a lot of attention in getting the naming right, because then once you generate the layer styles, you're just going to have an amazing hierarchy which is easy to use, and you don't need to do further tweaking or work around too much stuff. So let's go ahead, and what we're going to do is again, like the textiles, we're going to use this plugin which is rename it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna select all of the layers and click on rename, select the layers, and we're gonna use exactly this formula. So the first part of the rename is going to be primary, then slash, and let's rename all of them. I have a custom shortcut to access rename it, so it's going to save some time. Secondary, tertiary, and so on. This is the border 1. And border 2. Guys, by using this plugin, you're gonna save so much time. It's gonna be unbelievable. These ones, we're gonna leave them for now, because we want to, or actually, let's just rename them to success, or actually UI states. No, these are actually going to be UI states, because it's just going to be easier. So just do that. Select all of this, UI states, bam. Now over here, we're going to select all of these and all of the fills, the solid ones, and we're going to rename them layer name, so that you can see in the preview the first the layer name is going to be maintained. And then we're going to just write solid and the extra slash. Okay, perfect. Now we're going to select all of the ones with 0.75 pixel outline. Again, layer name, outline, 0.75 pixels. So let's rename them, and here we go. Now we're gonna do the same with the 1 pixels and all the other ones. Okay, let's go like this. Let's duplicate these ones. I'm just gonna reselect real quick. And this time it's going to be 1 pixel. Perfect. Now let's do the exact same thing with the 1.5 pixels. Here we go, outline 1.5, rename, bam, we are in business. Let's do the last ones. So basically we're just renaming them, keeping the layer name and using the different outlines to create this hierarchy. So great. Now we just need to rename these ones, which I'm going to do manually. I just using Command R to access the renaming of the layer, and let's use success over here. Let's use failure and active. Hover and shadow. So let's just change these just for to have a reference, but we're going to update them in just a few moments. So let's go ahead here. I'm just gonna copy the shadow style. And yeah, I mean, when it comes to these guys, not too sure what we're gonna do. So I'm just going to use these as placeholders for now, but we're going to tweak them as we go on in the project. So these are just references for now. Okay, so looks like we have everything named in a clean way. So what we're gonna do at this stage is we're going to select each and every one of these without selecting these top layers, which we can lock them, but let's do that in a bit. So I'm gonna select all of these and oops, select that a bit too much. And what I'm gonna do is to go under plugin, styles generator, and select generate shared styles. Now you can find both this plugin and rename it under a very quick Google search. So just go and search styles generator sketch. You're gonna find it straight away. It's a plugin that you can install in like a minute. It's super easy. So just get that, select everything, click on generate shared styles, and bam, we have everything inside this. So let me show you, because the screen recording isn't capturing this this part over here. But basically, if I select one style, you can see that now it's everything is synced up in the appearances. So this is 0.75 secondary outline, and this is the primary. Like everything is perfectly synced in, which is amazing. So you can see over here, I can select either the solid or the outline, border over here too. Everything is synced in a very easy way for us to work. Now we have this issue with the territory outline, and the reason being is that we didn't name the layer correctly. So I'll show you how to fix that. And basically you can see that over here there's a problem. We just have we don't have the slash between the territory and the outline, and hence why you're gonna see here territory outline. So I just wanted to show you this as a way to solve it quickly. So you can just go ahead here and redo the same process, territory, and then rename, and then I can go ahead here and just rename it to solid, and these ones are going to be the outlines. So let's go ahead here, outline, and again 0.75 pixels, 1 pixel, this is the 1.5 pixel, and the 2 pixels. So if we go ahead here again and we say detach from layer styles just for make our lives easier, and then let's go to plugins again, and we use the style generator to generate new styles, and I select it again. You can see that now I have the territory, which is working just fine. We still have these other ones here, and the way you do it is the way you can improve this is you just delete this. So actually it's going below what you're seeing, but I'm seeing them just below this area, so just bear with me. What I'm doing is I'm just selecting the ones that I don't want, and then there's a very small minus button which I click, and then I click on done. So sorry for not being able to show this, but it's very straightforward. Just select them, click on the minus button, and then you're not going to see them anymore. So you are in business, and at this point we can go ahead and use these textiles and the layer styles in the actual dashboard. So the way I usually integrate them is it's pretty simple. I just double click on one of the elements in which I want to change the color styles, and I just select these elements over here. In this case I'm gonna go to secondary and solid, and now it's officially synced. The way you see it that it's synced is that once you select the object, you're going to see the appearance style accordingly. So let's go ahead here and let's do the same for these guys, and we're gonna use primary solid. Let's make the opacity a bit smaller here, and yeah, I mean basically I'm gonna use the background to the UI states shadow, and this background over here too. So I'll just going to show you exactly shadow, this one too. I'm going to apply it to shadow. So basically nothing will change, and the reason being is that everything is just synced in with the same shadow. So I'm just updating the symbols over here with the same shadow, so it's going to repeat throughout the entire project. And this is a bit of a more like minute detail kind of work. You won't necessarily need to do this for many clients' projects. Usually I do this only for clients where integrating a design system makes financial sense, because it takes more time, and you know, it's an upfront investment that not many clients are willing to do. But in case you really want to deliver excellent services to a large client or a client that is willing to make the investment, it's definitely worth considering. So at this point I'll show you an example of how the design system is synced. So if I go ahead here and I change the shadow to, let's say, a red color and I change the primary and secondary to a red color too, and just select all three of them, and I go ahead here and use update layer styles, which is going to update the current layer styles in the entire project. You can see that now everything is synced in a way that you know, it makes just is synced with the design system. So you can sync in literally everything using this design system. And I mean, it's a great way if you need to do like quick tweaks that are being repeated throughout an entire app or an entire project. I mean, it's just an amazing way to do updates quickly and efficiently, and this is by far the most scalable system you can use. I work with large enterprises and they're a big fan of these systems because not only it allows for quick updates, quick rebranding, and all these good stuff, but it also allows you and them to be 100% on point when it comes to branding and following the brand identities, because you can't really escape from from this. So this is it. I hope this video was helpful. I know these series are a bit more technical. This is one of the most like technical features of working with Sketch, but I hope this was clear enough. If you have any questions, do let me know and I will get back to you. And yeah, I'll see you in the continuation of this series in which we are creating a UI kit from scratch. Hope this video was helpful and I'll see you in the next one.